Hi everyone, hope you're having a good Saturday. I have a bit of a life update at the end of the video, but we'll go ahead and get into the books. I went on a bit of a book buying spree, I guess, the last few weeks from some different places. Some new releases came out, and I kind of waited till I had a stack here to show because things went uh, had went life was lifing the last few weeks, and so at this point, this probably will be the last set of books I purchase for a while. I can't say definitely because the moment I do, my brain will think otherwise. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We have this one, which I believe I saw on The Coloring Chemist. This is translated to through Google Translate, which may or may not be right. That can't be right. I do not think that is. Okay, hang on. Let me try that again. The auto-detect language I do not believe is correct. So let me. Alright. I believe it's My Coloring Journey or something to that nature, and it's called Forest and Nature. I will have the list of the books, timestamps where you can jump to the different chapters depending on what books you want to see, and the artist names in the description. So, but this was a very beautiful book I saw, and I believe I purchased this on Etsy. Maybe. I'll have to go back. I I do apologize if I am not 100%. If you saw my post a couple days ago, you know why, and if you listen to my update at the end, you'll know why. So, but it's a beautiful book, and I wanted to add it to my collection. Pretty sure this is German, and I'm not going to read all this, but it is wanting to auto-detect and say it's Korean, and I know it's not Korean. Yeah, this is German. So, okay. The artist, I believe, Reyhan. There are tips and tricks at the beginning. And then we get to the images. One thing that is very cool is that this is a single-sided book, which is unusual to find in books, usually in non-English books. So let me, because that is awful bright. First thing, let me zoom in a little bit and then darken it just a touch so y'all can see the line art better. Each opposite page does have a cute little image to it though, so as much as I want to use markers, you know, on some of them it might be hard if I think it's going to affect the image behind it. This reminds me of another artist I found recently. I think it's based in the UK. Something, Paper Panda, something like that. That also has really beautiful art. I like that these aren't super detailed images. And this is a smaller book. It's not a full, like, standard 8.5 by 11. So these pictures feel more, I guess, doable in short periods of time. The paper feels really smooth, so depending on what you like to use with smooth paper, might dictate what you want to use in this book. Like I said, this is actually a book that I would be interested in using some alcohol or water-based markers as a base, since I get a rare single-sided. Love this one. I don't even mind, I'm not big on like coloring houses and buildings and structures, but I don't even mind the ones that are in this book, because they're not, I guess, a large portion of the overall picture. And birdhouses are okay. You're probably going to see me coloring a lot of birds and birdhouses and flowers. Wouldn't surprise me. So, love that picture with the birds. Love the underwater pictures. It's just, like I said, it's just a beautiful book. And there's plenty of pages. I don't know the exact page count, but I love the origami. I saw that in another picture. It's something about the shape of, the hard angles of the origami against kind of the soft curved background that makes that a really interesting picture. And these don't feel like big elaborate houses. They feel like just little nooks, little hideaway places. I have to see if the artist has any other books out. I know I've got to speed up or we will be here for a while. The birds having like a little conference there. Like this one with all the different animals. I like how they all have like little rosy cheeks. I think that's a cute detail. Reminds me, the houses remind me a little bit of R.J. Hampson. Some of the compositions remind me of that. A little bit of kind of, I don't know, it's a lot of different artists that I love, and so it makes sense that I would also love this book, because it's a wholly unique book, but there's also a few things that I find, I guess I like, again, across multiple artists' books. It's a pretty page of just flowers. Yeah, this is one of the few books that, like I said, I actually don't necessarily mind the houses and the buildings. Ooh, that's pretty, like a little underwater set of houses. And then you can see the other ones on the little pedestals there. I don't know if they're necessarily floating on the surface of the water. I don't know, the angle there is a little difficult, but nice variety of images too. And I think this is a really good book for going into like spring and summer, given all the flowers and kind of garden scapes that you're seeing. A little tiger right there. Or it could be a cat. Just a tabby cat. Big tabby cat. In comparison to those houses. I know this is supposed to be a soothing picture, but then, the dark humor side of me is looking at this and like, okay, where are all the people? He's looking awful satisfied. Where are all the little people, fairies, spirits, not spirits, but little gnomes that live in these buildings? Like, he's looking awful self-satisfied. Did he have a buffet? That's in it. Very interesting picture. Beautiful book. I'm really glad I got this. I will be very curious to see how different mediums work in this book. And like I said, it is a treat to find a book like this that's one-sided. So, very excited about that. I did get this from Etsy, and was this... I think... Is it the Coloring Queen? Coloring Queen usually posts like a new release list each month, and I think this was on the list for February, maybe? What is it auto-detecting? Whatever it's auto-detecting is not correct. Okay. 4 seasons. It says heart-fluttering watercolor coloring book. Little Friends Walking Through the Seasons. And it is by... I am going to mess up that name, so we're just going to put it in the description. Now this is also a smaller book. If you look at Tiny Tales, it is just a little bit bigger than that. So now, of course, with books like this, you don't necessarily need to use watercolors. This shows you, I guess, the types of supplies that you can use. We go back through some, I guess, color theory and some quick kind of tutorials. Maybe, I guess here you could play around with some testing. So here's spring. So this feels like thick paper. This does feel like watercolor type paper. I will be curious to see how this works. But now what I find very interesting, and I'm going to have to show it kind of like this. Let me raise it up a bit, because I think a lot of these are long like this. What's very interesting to me is they actually show you the mixes, and I'm assuming this is a specific type of paint that they probably indicate here. But obviously if you have your own palette, yeah, I'm not sure what palette that is. But if you have your own palette and obviously similar colors, I do really like that they show you the mixes to get some of these colors. So to get that purple, to get this kind of peachy color that's on this flower, to get the darker green here. If you're not familiar with color mixing with watercolors, I think that is really handy to show you like some of the unique blends. Like I probably wouldn't have known that one. Pink and blue to get purple, yeah. Like these two, yeah, but this one I wouldn't have known. But then you get the same image to work on yourself. And again, you don't have to necessarily use watercolor. You could use colored pencil. Technically, you could use marker, though it is a little bit of a rough paper, so because it's kind of heavy-duty watercolor paper. Isn't that cute? I love that picture. And I love that these are small. Easily, workable in a short period of time. Now, what I'm probably going to do for simplicity is show you the completed image, and then you know that on the opposite page is the blank image for you to complete. I love this bird, honestly. And it also shows you how much of a color to add in, which is pretty cool. This might be one that I go by simply the colors that they use as best I can. Some of the books, I might go a little bit on my own or try some different colors, but honestly, these are beautifully done. And I think it would be good practice at mixing colors. Especially this one with the rabbit. I think this is a good practice in mixing colors, letting layers dry, trying to blend. And these are beautifully vibrant. A lot of the watercolor books I have usually use maybe more muted colors, but these are the exact type of colors I would want to use anyway. So, isn't that precious? I just love them. And then we have summer. I'll speed it up a little bit. That dirty look through. It looks almost like cabbage or something he's looking through. I think the first picture I'll pick may not be like my favorite one in here, which is going to be hard to pick, hard to choose given all of these. But I might pick a picture just to test it and see how the paper really is. I know in some books that have like the image for you to work on and it looks like it's been done in watercolor, the paper is not necessarily built to really truly be watercolor paper. Oh, I love that one. Like, this is my jam with these colors. This is just the subject matter, everything. And I'm also curious when you put water on the page how it affects the paper behind it. Like, I almost wonder if I'd want to start at the back and work my way to the front just to see what it's going to do to the completed page. I love that. It's like a babushka bird. Oh, that's pretty. And here's winter. A cat in a little sweater. Oh, I can't. I can't. I love how even the winter pictures are bright and vibrant. I think that, oops, I think that's really cool. And there is the last one. And I don't know, it would be really cool if there was a way I could access like tutorials on some of these, but I don't know if they're available anywhere. So if I come across that, I will let you know. I don't see anything that would indicate a website. Anyway, beautiful little book. Like I said, these seem to be smaller pictures that you're working at quite a bit to, you know, build layers and stuff. So, I mean, I wouldn't say they're super quick unless you want them to be, but they don't feel overwhelming. They're just smaller pictures to work on. So I really like that. All right. Promise I will speed up. This is... Please tell me you're auto-detecting. Capturing the 4 seasons of Seulgeurim, Girl and Cat Together, a record of a refreshing day. Y'all know I have a weak spot for the cats, and this was one of them. I will have to try to find Seulgeurim. Seulgeurim may be the artist's name. Okay, we'll track down the artist's name. You get little thumbnails here. Again, another seasonal book. I am a sucker for a seasonal book. And this shows the materials that the artist used. Some different types of watercolors. Looks like some colored pencils, some gouache, a white gel pen, and then, oh, used Holbein watercolors, and then Prismacolor pencils. So if you want to try, I guess, to get as similar results as possible, you could do that. Then takes you through a few different techniques, which I will probably want to look at myself. Yeah, like the sheer curtain is probably pretty tricky. Alright. So these look to be little slices of life type pictures where it's not the whole image, it's just part of it. These are of course very cute. I love the cat on the skateboard. And see, cats and vending machines, like even my Matt understands that one. I like that one. I wish my house looked that put together and organized. I like he's just splooting on the ottoman. That probably looks a little more realistic. I like that some of the like the shading from the clothes and stuff is already in there too. Now this is very thick, smooth paper. I do not know how well watercolor will do on this, so this is going to be a tester. I know like coloring chemists in some of the books like this, has found that some of this doesn't work as well with watercolor as it should, so you may have to pre-treat the page with a material that makes it more watercolor friendly, like satin glazing liquid or watercolor ground. And then these are full scenes. She's got a lot of cats hanging out with her for lunch. And again, you don't have to use watercolors. You could use pencil. You could use water-based markers. These are technically one-sided, but if it bleeds through, it'll bleed through to the next full-colored illustration. So whether or not you're okay with that is, of course, entirely up to you. Excuse me. It's like this girl is the only girl in this town, and she's just, it's nothing but cats around her all day. Girl is living the dream, let me tell you. Just a town of cats. Well, I mean, there would also have to be an endless supply of cat food. Oh, there's another person. Okay. Yeah, there would have to be an endless supply of cat food, because that would prove difficult. And of course the cats love the pet shop with the fish. Realistic to a point. There's a little bit of fantasy elements in here. Love the Pac-Man-like game on the laptop there. I don't know how I feel trying to replicate this picture, but I love the little details. The cat's got his own set of cards. That one's about to throw the Jenga tower to the ground, knock it to the ground. Love the different colorations of cats. That feels pretty realistic to my life there. Like the cat little photo desktop wallpaper there, and then sleeping with the cats. Quite a few pictures in this book, as you can see. It's like she's crafting, and the cats are taking advantage of all the available yarn. Okay, that feels a little creepy. Like, the snowman is, stalking her, maybe? Like, oh, and the cat running the little, food truck there. That's pretty adorable. And what happened to this guy? Like, did he take him out so he could be on the stool? And look at him, like, he's pushing up about it. Oh, because of this other cat, I guess. Like, what's a very cute scene feels a little creepy here for me. As you know, I love to do. And here he is stalking her again. I feel like that is maybe not as excited a look and more of a little terrified, how did he get there? Because even these cats look a little freaked. Oh, and then there's like a landscape style one. That's where I think a lot of gouache comes into play. I'm going to have to get some white gouache. So, very cute book. All right. We will move to these. So, Alexandra Franzese has a new book out called Simple Easter. And I know we are already really close to Easter. Given events, it has kind of snuck up on me this year. I'm hoping to get a few pictures colored. I do love Easter and spring pictures. Might be my favorite ones to color after fall. Boy, this Amazon paper is just getting, it's like they are just letting it get thinner and thinner. It's not the artist's fault. I don't blame the artist at all, but dang. Oh. It's almost to the point that if it gets any thinner and it gets to the point where maybe markers bleed too much, I'm going to have to start scanning these in on my own paper. Love the little froggy. Love all the little tucked in Easter eggs. I think that's cute. He's contemplating, does he want the egg or the acorn? The snails are on an Easter egg hunt, and this is probably going to be the only egg they find. Like, they'll find an egg maybe every 3 hours. They're not very speedy Easter egg hunters. I think this would be a good one to play around with different types of tulips. Like there's variegated tulips and then different colors. I don't know, spring pictures, it's going to be, my coloring choices are going to be interesting. I am grateful that we're finally getting into spring weather. This weekend we're hitting 80 here in Tennessee, so it's like they're speed running spring around here and pushing directly in the summer, which makes me nervous that we're going to have a big long 115 degree summer. Neighbors out yapping, I guess. I do want to mention that, yep, and she's got it right here. Alexandra Franzese also has another Easter adjacent book called Bunny Days that if you're looking for something a little more detailed than maybe her simple series of books, like this is a sample picture from that. So, and it's also a very cute book. Teresa Goodridge has another new book out called Otterly Adorable. I had showed her owl one, I think, in January or February. And then this, I like the owls one, but I was also really looking forward to this one. This is a Creative Haven book. There is a sample image. There's 31 images in this one. These are also very cute. I like where they're playing with the little ball there. Their little eyes squinched shut. Otters are cool. I know otters can also have some problematic nature things that happen with them, but I like them on the slide there. The Creative Haven paper, if you've never tried it, is a medium quality. It's certainly better than Amazon paper, in my opinion. I have been able to, like, for small details, like here, if I wanted to color these trees, use like watercolor brush markers. I've been able to do that. I've been able to use watercolor on these in small amounts without needing to treat the paper. But if I'm doing like full watercolor blending and kind of layers, then I would go ahead and treat the paper. It does really well with marker. I find it works pretty well with pencil. It's not super smooth, but it's definitely less textured, again, than Amazon paper. So, if I had a small criticism of the book, there is what feels like a little bit of repetitive imagery. Like him there holding that. I feel like I saw that earlier in the book. Whatever that is, yeah. So maybe he found it here, and then in this other picture, he's showing it to his family. There you go. That's fine. That's fine. I can get with that. I think a little more variety and facial expressions and such than maybe the owl book. Again, the facial expressions can be a little samesies, but it's not necessarily like, I really like that fuzzy texture on that otter. It's not like, I guess, depending on the type of otter that you're doing, could probably have some variety. Oh, it's textured here too. But, you know, otters aren't going to look all that different. Different types of there are different types of owls, and I guess there are a couple different types of otters, but really most of them look pretty similar. So very cute book. And then RJ Hampson had another Tiny Tales come out. This is volume 3. This is a little different than volumes 1 and 2, which had a lot of his little extra pieces of art that he usually adds to like the back of pages. This has more scenes in the book. And it is a small book, like this is a standard size, and so this is the size of this one. Elephant's toenails. Oh no, that poor cat. That poor cat and mouse. Yeah, I would feel like it wouldn't be a great day if a elephant's walking in for a pedicure. It's asking like what the questions here are asking like what if elephants do this and do that, do they ride the biggest waves? Love their noses getting tangled in that dance. Now, one thing I will say, I like the tiny books, but one thing that usually can become problematic for me is when you have a lot of details like in this small of a space. Because I like using markers, it can be very tedious, and especially on Amazon paper, to try to be able to successfully color without a lot of bleed, or making mistakes because everything's so small. Generally, I like more full-size books if you're going to do like full-page imagery like this, but I still did get this. I will try it. If I find it's difficult to do, maybe there's a way. I might just go with like the digital pack or something. Now most of these that have smaller little bits of images are different. Like that one's got a fair number of details. I would simply have to accept that I have to use either colored pencils or like gel pens for some of these really thin areas and details. But I love the images. This is a very cute one. Wednesday's monster owns 5 cats and often hangs around with bats. I mean, he's a cat. He's a cat vampire. How can you not like him? It's like, oh, it's a vampire, but they're also a cat vampire. You know, they're a cat person, so, that's a tough one. Yeah, so the majority of these pictures are simple enough that I think these smaller, the smaller pages I should be able to navigate, but just with how I normally color, there just might be a few that are a little more detailed. And maybe I just switch to colored pencils for those. Like that one. I only, maybe able to use markers on the bigger areas. Then we have tiger tails. I like them all playing soccer here. Or not really playing soccer. They're just, a couple of them are. The rest of them are just being tigers. Just being cats. Sorry. I was holding that off at a pretty big distance. Oh, there he is. I like that one hiding there. Like he's almost waiting to swipe at your ankles when you walk by. No snow this Christmas, an Aussie lament. This is kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas thing. That's cute. Seven sharks are eating you because of global warming. And another collection of the little objects. Very cute. Like I said, most of the pictures I think would be fine for me in this size of a book. There's just a couple, mostly those ones that are like there's multiple things happening in the picture like this that might be a little difficult, but for the most part, I think I can make it work. All right, the last set of books are from Lyrica. We'll do this one first. Again, this is The Pretty Cats, I believe, by Tsoooki. Again, I think I saw this on Coloring Chemist. This is a like a thick board cover on this. And this is French. Looks to be. A little bit of information, I guess, on items used, suggestions. So this is 40 cats. And I guess, don't need any other explanation as to why I purchased this book. Really shouldn't surprise anyone. But I love how small these are. Like just how kind of snackable these images are. Um, I I think this is another one where the paper feels thick and it does have a textured feel like watercolor paper, but I know Coloring Chemist said she had some trouble getting like water-based or markers or what the materials she uses to blend on the page, so it might be worth treating with a little bit of some type of watercolor uh, type thing like satin glazing liquid or watercolor ground. I might try these out. This would be a great opportunity for me to talk myself into these clean color brush pens. But I have plenty of things I could try that where I don't necessarily need those. But that and colored pencils, it's very light sketch of the image on the other side. I like his little chef hat. He looks very focused, very ready to go on his desserts. It's a variety of images. You have full-size images like this, and then you have those smaller images. My guess is I will probably start on the smaller ones like this to see what works well, what doesn't. Build a little confidence before I try to tackle any of the bigger images. Especially because this looks like, obviously, it would be a lot of layers and blending. I love his little sweater. So cute. And a little rose in his mouth. Oh, so adorable. Some of these, like this image here, I feel like you could do maybe watercolor as a base, but or here, but like I do not have the smooth hand dexterity to create all this kind of line art on that with watercolor paint. So we will likely be using different materials in here. But would love to use mostly watercolor if I can. I think there's somebody else that recently posted a completed picture from this too. I like kind of the little Christmassy ones too. Where often I struggle to color, a lot of stuff at Christmas, and so I love this little pumpkin hat. Oh my gosh. The cats in here are stunning. I love the coat colors on this one. Some of this will be very much practicing off on a separate piece of paper before I put anything to this. For sure. Oh, that's a pretty one. The flowers. You got seasonal ones. Again, we know I'm a big fan of the Seasons books, as we can see. That would be a good spring picture. That might be a good first one to tackle. The little bubbles next to him. Oh, he's holding a bubble too. Adorable. I love these. I'm just trying to figure out how I can do that. And theoretically, you could use markers if you weren't worried about bleed over to this page. But darn, these are just so pretty. I don't want to risk that. I would like to think I will love my finished picture as much as I love these pictures. But, down the road, that's a possibility. I would like to cut out some of these pictures, whether they're the ones I did or the ones that are in the book, and use them as, like, art prints. So I don't necessarily want to risk that. Love the gardening cat. Oh, his little flower hat. Her little flower hat. I think this is one the coloring chemist did. I thought hers turned out beautiful. Oh, rarely have had my cats snuggle together like that. And most of the time when I catch them, I'm pretty sure it's accidental. Anyway, beautiful book. Love that. Um, we'll do this one. I got a smaller mini-bloc mystery fantasy, which is like half the price roughly. Roughly, not really, maybe 40% less than the standard full-size Coloriage Mystères books. But it is a little fantasy book. These are extremely tiny areas. I am questioning my logic in this decision. We will see. We will see. However, I will show you the finished pictures in the back. They're not super detailed, so I have hope. If you don't want to see these, you know, you can jump to the next book. I think the next 3 or 4 books will be Coloriage Mystères type books with the solutions in the back by Hachette. So just, if you don't want to see those, I appreciate you coming by. You can move to the update at the end, or if you don't need bad news, maybe maybe wait for another video. But here are the fantasy pictures from this. I really wish these were full size. Just because I would have liked more room to work. Of course, you know I love that one with the black cat, but I would have liked more room to work with a full-size page instead of the smaller pages. But I don't have one of these short books, so I figured short books, the smaller books, so I figured I'd give it a try. Maybe if I start with one that doesn't have a lot of detail and kind of work my way to the others. And this might also be a good page to use, like those Languile acrylic pens. I like her with the foxes, like the fairy, because those, you know, cover smaller areas. Really beautiful images, for sure. And that was why I decided to give it a try. I like that owl too. So that is that one. Again, I believe it was Coloring Chemist that talked about this book. I think there's a couple different covers on it. Yeah, you know, none of these are Disney. Good for me. But I decided to try this one. This one's interesting because the line art looks a little more prominent. Wow, that is a detailed page. My goodness. Okay, some of these, okay, oh my. Whoops. Like I said, maybe once I get into it, it won't look as intimidating, but boy howdy, these are some detailed. The ones back here maybe aren't as bad. Maybe I start with one of those. Anyway, I'm going to show the solutions in the back. It's pretty, okay, some of them are landscape, some of them are portrait. We're just going to have to use our imagination a little bit and turn our heads. That one's going to be, number 6 is going to be definitely a thing, as is number 8. I think those were the ones I was seeing. Really interesting, detailed, like forests. I don't know what is happening there. And the line art is more prominent, I think, the line art, the line separations, because the these are supposed to be more of a jigsaw kind of mosaic effect, I think, which I thought was an interesting, it's different. And there's a couple with some different animals, which is cool. I need to back up this camera, sorry. The brain is not braining. There's that one with the tiger. I like the ones with the animals best, I think. Those are probably the ones I will do first. That one with the squirrels, interesting. Ooh, I do like that one though. Alright. I don't think I've seen that one. I might have to go look for that. Oh look, another cat book. Another excuse to get on Lyrica. This is the next one that I got. I think, do I already have a Japan book? I thought I did. But no, maybe there's another one out there, but I like the art in this one better. This one doesn't look too bad. Well, I say that and then I go to this page. Yeah, okay. There's a variety. My biggest thing with these books is I do not like the pages that look like one thing and then you color them and they look like something else. That breaks my brain. I can't handle that. Alright, gonna show the solutions. I thought these were just really pretty. Honestly, I'm probably going to spend definitely some time this weekend working in some of these books. I'd like to try out maybe some of the new colors I got for my King Art paint pens. And I'm going to do others as well, but we may just start out with something fairly simplistic that I can focus on. But these are really cool pictures. But they have like a cartoon animated feel to them. I really like that one. Shoot, I would almost take that one and frame it when it's done. I like that one so much. Yeah, very anime feel to these, which is one of the reasons I like them so much. That Godzilla one, that is incredible. Brent would probably like that one when it's done. You could almost hang those as a pair because the color scheme's, very complementary to each other. Actually, you could do all four of these really. Like if you had, you wanted to frame them. Those would look really good as like a series together. And the last one is this one. I know I should have been translating these. I apologize. I will try to do so in the description. This one was interesting to me because this is kind of like a silhouettes book. And I thought if I really need a book where I don't need a lot of details, this might be a good choice for me. So these tend to, it tends to be the same color but just in different shades. That might be a little difficult for me depending on what colors they are. I might have to supplement these with like colored pencils and things that aren't paint pens. That might be the biggest challenge on this one. So like it is one color, but it's like it's different shades. So all right, solutions. All right, I like the dinosaurs one and the dragon. I would say if you had like the Tully art sets, this would probably be a good choice if they have a lot of color variety. Like different shades of this of green, for instance. I like the shipwreck right here too, and the dragon and the fairy. I don't know, it's something kind of soothing about it being all one color and not having a lot of detail work. I've been kind of all over the place lately in what I like. I like that one too a lot. My cat keeps trying to get over here. He's been... Well, that one of the tiger looks a little terrifying, to be quite honest. Kind of a mix of different pictures. Fantasy, real life type things. All right. Well, there was my very long book. I guess I said I wasn't doing hauls, but I guess theoretically this could be called a haul. So there are all the books. I will have them in the descriptions as best I can, where to find them hopefully, especially for the non-US books. As I know they can be difficult to find. And yeah, that is it for this. I don't know when I'm going to post another video that kind of goes in hand with my updates here in a minute. So, but if you can't handle sad stuff today, or you really just, don't need to hear my life update, that's fine. I understand. But it's, I guess, kind of a life and what I'm going to do here maybe in the immediate future on the channel. So if not, thank you for dropping by, and we will move to that. So, if you saw my posts on Instagram or on YouTube, my mom passed away Wednesday, and she had been the one, I had mentioned I had a family member going in hospice care, and it was her. She has had a number of health issues, and one day, I might go into detail about it, but just she's went through a lot in her life for things that were out of her control. And 20 months ago, we were told she had less than 6 months left, and we managed to make it almost 2 more years. but unfortunately she had progressed to the point that we really couldn't keep everything in balance, and it's recommended she enter hospice care. She was in the hospital in critical care. I think that's right. For not quite a week, and then the Wednesday before last, moved from the hospital to home to hospice care, having to be bedbound at least for the time. We got about 6 days with her. I have to be careful where I go here. We got 6, pretty good days with her. And she was here, she was present, wasn't having a lot of pain issues. Some just due to medications and stuff, but nothing too bad. We spent time together. I was able to... Nope, can't go that way right now. It's like I'm in this haunted house, and if I know if I go down certain routes, it's going to wind up in tears, and so I have to kind of just keep towards the middle. But we, had time with her. I took leave from work. My brother and I were trying to set up a routine where it would be 2 of us there at all times, my dad and then one of us, most of the time. I had come in to stay overnight because my brother was supposed to go to work the next day. He ended up getting a call from his boss that he could stay home the next day and work remotely for a time because their network was having issues. So we were all there, and it was a normal night, and she passed away in her sleep. And it was a shock, even though she was on hospice, because we thought we had more time. I can talk more about it later, but that's about as much as I can get right now, and honestly, it is a huge surprise to me that I can say that. Probably just because I've told so many people between now and Wednesday that I've been able to disconnect from most of it. Anyway, my dad is my biggest concern, because it's been extremely hard on him. Also on my brother and I, of course. And it just, like I said, it was just more of a shock. And I think maybe as time goes by, the reality of it will settle in more for me. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm not going to say I'm taking a break from the channel, because the moment I do, a day or 2 from now, I'll need something to distract myself, and I will get the urge to do a video to talk about Star Trek, or to talk about something random, or I'll, my brain has a funny way of being defiant when I make a decision about something. So we're just going to say videos are going to continue to be sporadic. Maybe once a week, but it may even be once every 2 weeks. As far as my Deborah Muller color along, I may not get to the pictures this week for March, but I'm going to try to go ahead and post some April pictures. But we will see. I am going to be on leave from work for a few, for some more weeks at this point, as I try to work through all this. But yeah, that's about all I can say. But it is just, the past 2 weeks feels like I have lived 10 lifetimes. And I'd do it all again if I could, just to get more time. but there's really not much else I can say at this point other than I just miss my mom. So, just wanted to let you know that, like I said, things might be a little sporadic. There might come a time where I want to color a picture and talk about her and try, and I'm sure I will cry a little, but, you know, try not to break down in the middle of a video. There might come a time where I just need to give it time for a while. I don't know. But I do have a counselor. He's actually a grief counselor that I was working with, so I am covered in regards to that. But of course, that is one session a week, so I've had to learn to shift and navigate new normals multiple times the last couple weeks. And again, I do it all again in a heartbeat for her, but it's just really taken its toll. So I am focused on trying to spend time with my dad, trying to help as much as I can with him, trying to take time to do what I need to do, and trying to make myself do things that will help distract me, because I need time like that, because it's really just been hard to do that. Anyway, for those of you that left comments on the post and on Instagram, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's extremely hard to talk about. Again, I think the only reason I'm able to talk as much as I can right now is because I've kind of disconnected from the story. But if I get in any too much into the raw moments, that's where that thin, almost tissue paper level of shell cracks. So anyway, yeah. So I will be posting, not sure what I'll be posting or when, but we're just gonna muddle through it. And like I said, hopefully I can take some time to disconnect this weekend a little bit without feeling guilty or feeling like I need to be doing something, or just trying to figure out how to exist in this world without my mom. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.